Today's video is going to be about biceps. I told you guys a bicep superset, and that is what I'm going to deliver. Woo! Wah! And we're back. Back in the dungeon. I mean, it looks beautiful down here. Back like I never left. I will tell you something though. I had to get my footing back again. When you start, playing around with tripods, you guys know how I feel about tripods. Not the biggest fan. You have to maneuver, you have to figure out, it's kind of an art to it. It's definitely not an art I'm looking forward to getting good at. Like, oh, you should see the way I move around my tripod. Like, I can't imagine anything worse. But you know what we're here to do. It's time to take off the pump cover. Already tucked in. I mean, yeah, this feels like we're back now. Now we're back. How's the pump looking? Looking all right. Today's video is gonna be about biceps. I told you guys a bicep superset, and that is what I'm going to deliver. Now, the way that I work out and the way I package up my workouts is very different from most people. Whether it's a hypertrophy guy, a strength guy, a pure yoga mobility guy, my goal is to combine all of these factors into one training program and one training routine, and that way I can max out my results without having to spend my entire life inside a gym. That is my goal, and it has worked out great for me, and obviously other people that I've helped out in the past and currently helping out. And it's my way of just taking time and compressing it to being the most effective per minute. It's a fun way of wording it, but my goal is to be hyper effective for my goals. And effective doesn't mean just muscle growth, although that is a huge part of my framework. Now, the way I do things is very different than most, like I said. So what I do is I'll do supersets, especially on smaller muscles, but basically on every muscle I do this. But what I'll do is I'll superset a bicep exercise with another bicep exercise versus people going bicep and tricep, which I will instill because I have an arm day. But I actually like supersetting at least a couple times in the routine where I'm doing triceps and triceps or biceps and biceps. But we're going to keep it to biceps because this is what this video is about. The next video, we'll talk about triceps. How about that? All right, I made that decision on the fly. We'll do triceps next video, but this video is going to be biceps. So I'm going to show you is going to be the same framework that operates under everything. You can take this principle and apply it to any muscle. That's the beauty of this. It's legitimately the formula of how I like to set things up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys two exercises. Dos, nine, depending on what language you're listening to this to. I don't know Russian, so I can't help you out there. Anyways, what I'm going to do is we're going to do the long head. The long head is this guy right here. So you have your short head and your long head. And a lot of people are like, I call the brachialis or the brachiradialis, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. My point is this muscle right over here, also factor that into an arm day. A lot of people are like, but that's forearms, that's separate. I actually combine it all. I feel like it's a kind of integral part of your bicep, makes your biceps look a hell of a lot thicker if you're into the aesthetics. Also really, really good for wrist strength, which is great for strength. You know what I mean? So like I personally think like it's a no-brainer to add on. So what I'm thinking in my head is I'm going to superset 2 exercises for the short head, 2 exercises for the long head, and 2 exercises for the brachialis or brachiradialis, whatever. I know there's going to be some guy in there like technically the anatomy term. You get what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to get you guys big and moving the way you want to. That's all we do here, right? Drop some sauce, drop some game here and there. We're here to have fun. You know what I mean? Like the more nerdish you are about it, the less beauty there is on the back end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys 2 that are very, very simple. But understand these are plug and plays. You can do with whatever. However, with the very, very first movement, I like to choose the first part of the superset being something that I want to just work on. And in my head is like, this is more of a priority movement. And then the second part is just taking it to complete failure. That's it. I have a needle mover where it's like, this is my priority if I had to choose between these 2 movements. So usually I like to do is a compound movement followed by an isolation. That doesn't always have to be the case. But for example, for me, I want to focus on incline dumbbell curls. That's what I would do in this situation. However, and this is where I'm showing you guys how you can kind of pinpoint and kind of go from here and there. I only have 40-pound dumbbells. And those are kind of light for me if I'm being honest. So I'm going to elect to do an easy bar curl close grip, which is also going to target the long head. And I can go heavier on these, and that way on that one, it's more of an isolation where it's like I can handle that weight. I can go much heavier than that. And so that's a no-brainer for me to put on the back end of the equation. That's the back end of the superset. It's late at night. It's actually going to be my second workout of the day. I've been running 2 a days. and it's been going beautifully, man. I mean, I feel like I'm transcending into a different place mentally, even physically, but more so mentally. There's something about putting more on your plate. My days have never been busier. Yeah, there are times I'm overwhelmed. Was I like stoked about like, man, I have to come down and shoot content? Like, I actually enjoy what I do, you know, like I really do, but that doesn't mean sometimes you're just like, you know, like I kind of just want to relax a little bit, but it's been absolutely spectacular. And if you guys are interested in that, I will literally drop a video on how that's been going, because I've been doing it for the past 2 months and the results have been, dude, unbelievable. Better than I could have ever expected. But anyways, let's get to the superset. Talk to you guys in a second. Let's see how that looks. All right. Do you notice I'm not sacrificing on form? At the end I might, but in the beginning I try to keep it as strict as possible. And then I lower slow. Superset time. Now we take both. I think I actually completely missed. It's gonna work. I don't know. You know, God willing, it works. Now all I'm doing is I'm gonna sit right over here. My goal is to feel the stretch. That's the beauty of the incline dumbbell curl, is you can really sink deep. You can sink. Sorry, my shorts were hiking up. You can sink so deep into the stretch to where I actually feel it along my long head. Like, that's why I go, like, you notice my grip is out like this. A lot of people like to turn. Oh, I'll just sit in that stretch. Just like that. Sinking deep. I keep my head on this thing. Boom. And we just targeted the same exact part of the bicep back to back. I do this because if you think about it, you are attacking the same muscle from several directions. Targeting the same muscle but doing it a little bit differently. To a point where you see it, like, I mean, I should have tried to come out for partials, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that was the last rep I had. The rest of it would have just been like boom, boom. And that's the beauty of supersetting in this way. Like, I kid you not, it applies to every body part. Try to superset quads where you're doing maybe a front squat and leg extensions if you're ever able to have both in a gym. But you get the idea. I'm just kind of explaining it because we all know that leg extensions are for quads, more for isolation, right? Front squats are more compound, obviously, for your quads to get stronger. So I would start with front squats and I would go right into leg extensions. Now, most people are like, that's just too grueling. That's the point. That's what you want to build up towards. Do you understand how good a shape you have to be to sustain a superset like that? It works the same way with these biceps, triceps, chest, back. It works the exact same way. And I don't see anybody training in this way. And the only reason I came onto it is literally because I had a body that just was very stubborn to do what I wanted it to do. It was just stubborn. Not just aesthetically, which honestly, aesthetically, I was definitely not meant to look this way. But taking a step further, like even just like athleticism and being able to get super strong, but have endurance through heavier lifts on the back end of your lifting days. Like, these are things I think about. Like, I don't want any holes in my game. That's the only reason why I love lifting, is because it's an art. Lifting, weightlifting, is an absolute art where you tinker. It's not just a game of I just want to throw in a whole bunch of muscle. Like, for sure, that is a huge part of why I do what I do. But it's just a part of the pie chart. Like, I'm working on, for example, full ROM squats. I know this is a bicep video, but just bear with me. I'm working on pause squats at the bottom while having a more narrow stance. What I'm noticing is that I'm coming up on my toes, which tells me that my ankle mobility needs work. And now I have something to tinker with, where it's like, all right, we have to work on our ankle mobility. These are things, when you're weightlifting in this way, there's always a new rock to look under. Always a new rock to look under to try to figure out, all right, how can I make this that much better, that much better? That's the real game of optimization in my equation and what I'm trying to do. That's part of the reason why the way I teach and the things that I preach are make people uncomfortable. No doubt about it. I know it makes people uncomfortable, but it makes them uncomfortable because it's not from the beaten path. Everyone talks from a place of the ordinary, where it's like, yeah, this is the predictable, and this is why we count calories, and this is technical metrics on this exercise. And I don't care what anyone says. If you go the predictable path, you're capping yourself. And that's obvious. If you decide you want to go down a predictable path, understand you are going to be capped. You probably won't reach the pinnacle and top of the mountain. It's a very difficult thing to do. And for me, I want to see how high I can go and how far I can go. That's my goal. And the only way of doing that is by tinkering. But anyways, that's it for me. Actually, you know what? Do you guys want another superset? Screw it. We'll do another superset and then we'll wrap this up. Come on. Oh, baby. You have to be a real psychopath to do this twice in a day. What the hell's wrong with me, man?
Why do I do this?
Because I eat pain. Can't freaking budge the weight, dude. All right, superset time. Oh yeah, that's butter. Again, you guys remember from the last one, sit back, head beyond, get yourself in a position to where you're sinking. Like, this stretch should feel actually borderline great. You know, like, feels like you're just loosening up. And that's your cue to curl. I'm trying to explode out, but my gas tank is starting to get empty. Now, obviously, you know what, screw it. So obviously I only got 3 reps, and although that feels fine, like you can feel it in your head when it's like I did good enough, I'm still trying to push it to as close to failure as possible. So 3 and 3, 6 reps. That's kind of how I think of it. I know it's stupid math types of stuff, but point is you see it, man. Like, when you superset in this way, I mean, dude, my body's absolutely on fire. But how long was that? I just did 2 sets. Point is I'm supersetting the same exact muscle, confined time. A lot of things I do, I'll try to instill mobility. Like, obviously biceps are a little bit different, but you see it. That's why I love the incline dumbbell curl, is there is a little bit of shoulder mobility where it's like you can kind of sit deep into a stretch and it just feels healthy on your body. Like, you can build muscle that actually serves you. You can do it in a way that your body's actually becomes injury resilient. And that to me is the coolest thing ever. Like, I can put my body through anything, and I know it's not just gonna hold up, but it's gonna perform at its peak, or as close to its peak as possible. There's some days my CNS is fried, and people talk about rest recovery days. For sure, there's some days I'm absolutely zapped, I won't lie. But there is something coming out of those, like, it's almost like you meet that wall of resistance of just being so tired. There's nothing like it. You almost feel a new air of confidence and conviction. You're like, I went through it and I did not tap. Like, I kept going through it. It's not about just beating your body down to a pulp to prove you can go through it. And I think sometimes, like, people get in the habit of that. It's just about knowing, like, what I do in here is meant to prep me for the real world. And it's a little bit like, dude, that's a little bit much. But you'll be surprised at how that really does translate over in your job, in your relationships. People can feel it on you. People can smell it on you. And I'll tell you this right now, people super appreciate it. Anyways, I appreciate you being here. Next video, I said it in the middle, we'll do a tricep one. And if there's anything that you guys are kind of looking for, like in terms of anything that you're kind of seeing, I'm serious. Like, just let me know, drop it in the comments. And then other people that see those comments, like if you actually like that idea, like just give that thing a thumbs up, and that way I have an idea. My goal is to give you guys what you want, right? In a way that's very, very native to me. If there's something you guys are asking for where it's like, because if I can't speak on something, I'll just tell you I can't speak on it because I only speak from experience. Regardless, if you like this channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you. I really, really do enjoy doing these videos. I have a fucking blast. But regardless, anyways, guys, Uncle Rami out. Peace.